Thank you so much for your patience. I know I'm going to lose some of y'all, but it's okay. It's going to be well worth the wait. I Okay. So I think I fixed it. Let me let me go to this one real quick. Okay, I think I fixed it. Paris, can you check now? I'll check again in a minute or two. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much, beautiful. I appreciate you. Your beautiful self. Thank you so very much. So until I get the till I get the answer, make sure you're tapping the screen, make sure you share the live. If you want to see the presentation, right, you would have to switch over to YouTube because I actually have a presentation, because in learning visually actually helps the brain process a lot better. Stimuli actually help the brain process a lot better. So if you want to see the presentation that I actually have for you, is in regards to attraction, hop on over to YouTube and that way you'll see it. Or you can just stay here without the visuals. That's no problem. Okay. I think I have one person in here, two persons in here. Type something in the comments, say hello. um Let me know that you are here. Okay, this is my, like I said, bear with me, this is my first time using this StreamYard. I've heard really great things about it. Cloth, my first time, love, peace, and some to South Carolina. Hey, okay, South Carolina in here. Well, welcome. I'm so glad you decided to join us. So, as you all know, I always ask a question, right? And so, wait, okay, this is a new live. So, pardon me, one second, TikTok. For those of you who are just joining me, this is episode one, and we're going to be discussing the reasons why you are attracting dot dot dot. So it can be the reasons why you're attracting people, places, and things in your life, especially the people, places, and things in your life that you no longer want, that no longer serves you. There's a deeper reason why you find yourself attracted to certain type of people. There's a reason why you find yourself attracted to certain type of things, colors, smells, senses, all of these different things. And one of the issues that we're having is that we want to change our life. We want to change our behaviors. We actually want to attract more of what we want, need, and or desire. However, we're not really understanding the why things are not changing. And so, thank you, Touch of Paris. I actually I see it right now. So, welcome you all to all my Facebook family. I know I haven't been on Facebook for a while, if I'm actually streaming on Facebook, and my Instagram family. Welcome. For those of you who are new to me, my name is Venus Sagatis. I am a self mastery solutionist and mentor. I teach all things self mastery so that you can learn how to master yourself and your reality, especially with especially with witnessing a lot of things that is going on right now in the world, right? There's just so much, right? And we were discussing earlier, I was on a live earlier, I was on a live. So um I'm going to do the best I can to remember that. Let me move you over here, that I'm actually on TikTok as well, so I can make sure I engage with you as well, because I don't want to ignore you, right? And so I was on a live earlier with someone that I adore and I respect, and we were discussing um celebrities, mainly the situation that just happened with Cardi B, right? And I think I'm not one to cover like celebrity news. There's no amount of time, okay, in anybody's day that I'm gonna follow celebrities and their life and dig deep, and like that's just not my lane, right? It's no shade thrown to the people who actually do them things. However, I found myself in a discussion, and we touched on some really great topics, right? And there were a lot of comments. I'm not sure if you all are aware, but Cardi B took to live, and she kind of like expressed her disgrunts. She expressed her frustrations with her situation with her husband cheating on her, right? And there was a lot of mixed perspectives, which is absolutely beautiful. We should have perspectives, right? However, I thought it was a very it was important to share different perspectives, and the perspective that I come from isn't biased, right? There may be some biases along the way, because I am all for women's empowerment, people's empowerment, right? I'm all for righteousness. However, I am also the type of mentor that is not going to just tell you what you want to hear. I'm not that type of mentor. I'm not that type of friend. I'm not that type of mother, sister, aunt. I'm not that type of person that is only going to sugarcoat the truth. A lot of undesirable truths are not spoken because we're too busy people pleasing. We want to be accepted by the crowd. We want to be accepted by certain people. We want to be in an in crowd. We don't want, we care more about what people think. We care more about what society think. We care more about fitting in the norms, societal norms, than we do our own self, right? And that's unhealthy, because whenever you're not living in your authentic truth, it diminishes you, it depletes you, right? You're giving other people power. And so, with that discussion, all the perspectives that were shared, I had to be completely transparent and tell the undesirable truth. And even though the truths and facts are vast, right? Just like energy is infinite, frequency is infinite, you, beautiful people, are infinite. It is important for you to know that among the vast reasons as to why we keep attracting people, places, and things and situations that we are attracting, one of those reasons is because you're going to get and attract according to your energy that you vibrate on, right? You don't get to say anything opposite of the life that you're willingly living. And in that particular case, now I'm not speaking to Cardi B personally, because I don't know her. I'm speaking to the situation, right? Because there are many of us who are in these situations, right? Cardi B willingly signed a contract to do what she does. She not only signed a contract and is in that life, for those of you who understand what I'm not verbally saying, but what I'm saying, she willingly signed a contract. She willingly promotes things that are degrading and discouraging and demeaning, emasculating and defeminizing for women, especially our youth. Right. And so, if you live in that life, if you choose to live a certain life, if you're choosing to be a certain way, if you're choosing to promote promiscuity, being a woman being promiscuous, if you continue to promote using men, right, for their money, if you continue to promote that your value is in your physical appearance, if you continue to promote that your value is only external and your value and your worth is only in materialistic things, right, that's the life that comes with it. Now, this is not the first time that she took to social media, like many others, and expressed their gripes and expressed their frustrations, right? And so, where there were people that were sympathetic to her expressing this, I was one of those individuals who wasn't sympathetic. I am very compassionate and empathetic to her experiencing hurt. However, the undesirable truth is that you knew who you allowed in your life when you decided to marry him. You've spent years getting to know this person, years with this person. You knew who this man was before you committed yourself. You knew the life that you was living, the life that you would live before. So when you decide, when it's just like a person that keep crying wolf, you're not going to keep crying wolf and expect someone to finally come to your rescue because you're actually in danger, right? And so self mastery teaches you that you have to be mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, energetically, and financially, because we're in this realm and in this society, that you take responsibility and accountability for the part that you play. Life is not mysteriously happening to you. Things don't just happen to you. They also happen for you, and you play a big part of that. And so, with this evening, we're going to be discussing, and this is one of my most requested master classes. Let me pull this up on the screen. For those of you who are on watching me from YouTube, you get to see the presentation, which is going to be really, 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 really good. And so if you are here on the YouTube watching, can you kindly help me out so I can learn how to work and navigate with this new live stream? Can you type something in the comments for me so I can start navigating and start mastering working with this, right? So we're gonna get into, if you understand what I'm saying, put a one in the comments on TikTok. If you understand what I'm saying. Debonair, what's good, love? How are you, my love? Angela, how are you? Right. And so thank you so much. So we have to understand this is the only way that things are going to change, right? There's so many conversations, so many teachers, so many coaches who are pushing just money. It's about money. Let's get the bag. That our minds are so bombarded with distractions, right? I'm not saying that it's unrighteous. I'm not saying that it's unhealthy. I'm not saying that it's quote unquote wrong for you to want more money. I'm not saying that it's wrong for you to want romantic love in your life, for you to want a partner, for you to build healthy relationships in all aspects, not only with yourself, but with your family, with your children, with your friends, with your co-workers, whomever, because we are constantly exchanging energies with one another. We're not on this planet by ourselves. But even though I understand that there's a lot of different variables that are contributing to what we're experiencing, and if you continually make the choice not to invest in your self-development, not to gain the new information that you need, your behaviors are going to change. They're going to change. If you keep the same exact recipe, if you using the same seasonings, if you're using the same seasoning brands, if you're using the same milk or the same chicken stock or the same vegetables or the same proteins or the same everything, how do you expect to create a different recipe if you're using certain things? So in order for you to change your behaviors, you also need to gain new information, because the programs that we're working on isn't serving us. How are you, my love? How you doing? Right? That isn't serving us. And so you have to understand this. So let's get into it. Why do you think, okay, how do I remove this? Let me get this off of here for now. Okay, so when you hear law of attraction, what do you think? Throw out some words and what you hear. When you think about law of attraction, when you think about manifesting, when you think about why you do certain things that you do, what are some of the things that you think about, right? What do you think about when you think about yourself? What do you think who do you think you are? How much do you understand about your own psychology? Health is wealth. Ashe Brian, health is wealth. The only way to change your behavior patterns and to get new results is if you download, right? And enforce those new programs, enforce the new information. So, what is the law of attraction? What is the law of attraction? Hi, twin. How are you? Hi, twin. Thank you so much for commenting. Let me see if I can. Yes, I'm learning how to work this new platform. Hi, twin, how are you? So, what is the law of attraction? What does it states, right? And once again, if you're just joining me, if you hop on over, if you hopscotch on over to my YouTube channel, which is Venus the Goddess, you can view the presentation, right? So, law of attraction. What are we thinking about? That's why I have that little picture up there. And this is why I have a similar picture on the diagram, because you need to understand that you are a divine magnet. You are a magnet. Everything that is coming into your life, that you're pulling into your life, is because of what? Your dominant database, your thought process. And this is not the first that you're hearing this. This is not the first that you're hearing this. However, the results that we are getting, the reality of a lot of our lives, and let's not act like we don't know what's going on with a lot of us, because a lot of us put our whole life on the World Wide Web. A lot of us wake up on TikTok, we go to sleep on TikTok, we're driving on TikTok, we're drinking coffee, eating. Like, there's no moments private anymore with a lot of people. So yes, we can absolutely say we know you as well as we know you, because you show us everything. There's nothing private anymore. Being divinely connected to the higher you. Yes, divine. That is absolutely right. So the law of attraction is a concept. It is a philosophy. I dare to say it is a divine fact, a divine truth, indisputable. Deal that suggests that your high vibrational thoughts, right, bring desired results into your life, while your low vibrational, or should I say high frequency or low frequency thoughts bring the desired outcomes. So no longer can you continually point the finger and keep blaming people, places, and things as to why you are the way you are, why your life is the way your life is. Responsibility is one of the keys that is going to transform your life. Take responsibility and accountability. And that was one of the things that was shared when I was on live earlier, when we were discussing Cardi B's live, when she was expressing her disdain and her contempt, right? And her frustrations. Yes, is it sad? Well, what are you expecting? People are only going to treat you according to what you allow. Understand that people are only going to treat you according to what you allow. They're not going to do no more, and they're not going to do no less. So when you don't understand, one, who you are, when you don't understand what you want, when you don't understand why you want it to the core, and I'm not talking about your value externally, I'm talking about your value and your worth internally. When you don't understand what your core values is, when you don't understand what you need and why you need it, it is going to be extremely difficult for you to begin to set boundaries. And if you're not allowing the experiences to come for you to stand on them boundaries, this is the outcome that we get. We get the type of lives that Cardi B did. We get the type of lives that people are on here, right? Teaching misinformation, misguided information, teaching you things that are detrimental to your life, right? What you consume, you become. Do you really think your avatar is going to be as healthy as it can be if you continually consuming processed foods? Right? So we all can, our minds are easily receptive to that idea because we have a relationship with food. We know at least the bare minimum. It is the same thing and the same process that happens with your mind. You are what you think, because your thoughts are energy, your thoughts are frequency. Of course you're going to become who you think. Right? And when you don't understand the psychology of the why you do things, when you don't understand you on a triune level, part mental, part soul, spirit, and part physical, you're not going to understand why you do the things that you do. There's a reason why you keep allowing no good men and no good women in your life. There's one of the main reasons is because of what you're consuming. How many of you have came across lives where these creators that have a huge following, right, and they're speaking these derogatory, emasculating, warring topics, right? You're consuming. Everything that you consume affects you. And if you don't understand how to filter it out, if you never understand how to inch out the trash, guess what? You're going to be backed up. What happens when your body is not releasing toxins? What happens when you're not going to the bathroom regularly? We all get constipation, right? What is constipation? It means that you're backed up, that your intestines are full of ish. Isn't that what that means? Your intestines is full of you consuming information that is hurting you more than you know. Your intestines, your mind is consuming information, following people, listening to rhetoric, right? Listening to the warring, and you think that's not doing anything for you. You think that's not impacting you. Everything is transactional energy. Everything is transactional energy. Everything is transactional energy. The law of attraction is also based on the fact that your thoughts, like I just said, and this is on the slide, and because I know this stuff, everything is frequency. So, how do you change your behaviors? How do you get into energetic alignment right? To now become the magnet of what you want to attract. You have to become the magnet. Everything has a frequency. Love has a frequency. Hate has a frequency. Contempt has a frequency. And I'm moving ahead, but I'm going to show you what all of these things are. There's always a transaction. There's always a transaction. And so we have to understand that the present moment is the key. This knowing forces the idea that there are always things you can do to manifest and to attract in the present moment. It is simpler than a lot of us think. It really is. Technically, scientifically, you do not have to work the concept and perspective. You do not have to work as hard as you think you do. You're just working hard in other areas. Some of you are paying hundreds of dollars to learn how to attract a high value man, instead of investing sometimes less than that to learn who you are at your core, to learn why you keep attracting trash in the first place, because you don't get to keep what you don't cultivate. That's not how that works. What happens when you stop feeding a plant? For those for those plant moms and dads, what happens when you stop feeding a plant? It loses its energy. Anything, anyone infinite never dies. So the minute you understand that and get rid of this fear factor, you are an infinite soul, an infinite being, a phenomenal magnet, literally a walking atomic bomb. The amount of electrical current that is running through your body. This avatar, though, it does have an expiration date. Your purpose on this realm does have an expiration date. And no longer can we subscribe to the misnomers that, oh, you're a young person, you're young, you can do this, or whatever it is. Age does not matter. Status does not matter. Your money does not matter. Nothing and no one can save you but you. What are we talking about when saving you? No one can save you. No one can bring you and fulfill what you need internally. So when we're asking ourselves, why do we keep choosing? Because that's what we're doing. We're not only attracting these people and these things, we're choosing. We're choosing this. And so I like to get to the core of things. I know that the teaching self-mastery, yeah, sometimes we laugh, we joke, we have fun. I have cried with my mentees, right? We share a lot of moments. However, I do understand that what I teach is not always going to be charismatic. What I teach is not always going to be interesting to the mind who is less receptive, because they don't know what it is I'm speaking about. They would rather continually be mastered instead of mastering. Anytime you are so addicted and attracted to people, places, and things that is not serving your higher purpose, and no, you cannot lie to yourself. You can lie to other people. You are being mastered. You are going to do two things in this world. A lot, and I say this often, you are either going to learn how to master yourself, or you're going to continually be mastered. That takes effort. Learning how to master self takes effort. So you, in your mind, in your foolish, unlearned mind, you're paying people. I know this about us. Some of us, mainly women, are paying. Pardon me. If you see, I'm looking away at I'm looking at both screens and both platforms. And feel free to comment, like, share. Make sure you actually comment and like and share, engage, because this is not a monologue, right? This is a dialogue. I like communicating with you all, right? And so, of course, let me say this again. If you're just joining, if you hop onto my YouTube at Venus the Goddess, you can actually see the presentation that I have up here for you, right? And so, if you are not mastering self mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, right, energetically, you're being mastered. And you can even be mastered by your lower self. You can either be mastered by your lower self. I'd rather be mastering than mastered. Yes. But how many of us are still enslaved to materialistic things? I was. How many of us are still enslaved by people play toxic conversations, toxic people? How many of us are doing more of what we do not wish to do and less of what we actually want to do? That's a form of enslavement. That's a form of mastering. The whole goal and core of what I teach is so you can master yourself on all of these levels, so you can be more fulfilled, so you can start having genuine, authentic peace, so you can genuinely learn how to be full of love. So you can generally learn how to fully accept your authentic self. So you can learn how to appreciate and know that your value is not your external. So you can understand that there are deeper things that are going on. So you can understand the spiritual things that are going on. So you can stand esoteric things that are going on, galactic things that are going on. All of these different things are influencing your reality. There's a time, place, and space for everything. For everything. And if you ask me, a lot of us don't need to be looking for no romantic relationship at this point in time. If you are fortunate to have someone in your life, because just think about some of the main topics that are being highlighted. What are the main agendas that are being pushed? Money, drugs, sex. Money, drugs, sex. Everything is centered around dating, how to use men or women, how to get all you can. Everything is centered around physical aspects. A lot of things are not everything. A lot of things are centered. A lot of distractions are geared to influence you and keep you enslaved. Keep you being enslaved, not only to your lower self, but everybody else. So no longer do the slave masters actually have to do anything to force you, because we're doing their own bidding. A lot of us, because we don't really understand the things that I'm talking about, you don't really understand. You on the triune level, you are feeding the very same beast that you want to destroy. I say this all the time. You are feeding the very same beast that you want to destroy. What do I mean by magnet? What do I mean by you are a magnet? Do you put a one in the comment section if you understand what I mean by a magnet? Right? You are a magnet. Do y'all understand what magnets do? Just get a look at the visual that I put up here. Yes, I see the ones coming up. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Miss Divine. I see the ones. Y'all really missing this presentation. It's really, really good. The visual. I'm a kinesthetic learner. I not only like hands-on, but I like to actually, audibly hear, visually see it. So y'all understand you are a magnet. And if you understand what a magnet is a powerful force, a powerful frequency that draws things that are alike. Okay? It draws things that are alike in a sense. On the flip side of that, there are also magnetism that only the north node and south node can attract and pull. But I'm speaking strictly about you being a magnet and attracting the people, places, and things in your life that you are attracting. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. How many of you, honestly, because the best thing you can do for yourself is be transparently honest with yourself. How many of you actually sit down at least once a week and reassess and reevaluate where your attention is going? Mwah. Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate you, my love. How many of you actually do that? And let me tell you something. I'm not digging at you. I'm not crucifying you. I'm sharing you with you, because I am an extension of you. I am you. I am you. You are me. We are we, and we are us. And together we are powerful, and divided we are powerless. I'm just here to remind you of certain things. I'm not here to crucify you, but I'm also not here to stick a lollipop in your mouth, because too many of us been sucking on sugar for far too long now. It's time to come off the sugar. The divine truth is not always going to feel good, but it is going to be good for you. Medicinal medicine does not taste good, but it is good for you. It's healthy for you. However, I do it in love. How many of you are actually spending time with yourself, reassessing, actually taking the time to reassess where you are? Where is your attention going? Because where you place your attention is where you place your focus. Where is your energy? A lot of us cannot create because you don't have available energy and frequency to create with, because it's being dispersed in so many different areas. A lot of y'all energy is 10 years in the past, way back in the past. Some of y'all still have contempt for your mothers and your fathers for what they did or did not do. Some of y'all still have contempt for your exes. Some of y'all have contempt for your siblings. Some of y'all still have contempt, hold contempt in your heart, in your mind, in your body. That's energy that's still attached to you because you haven't cut the cord. And if you think there's not current still running through them cords, you're sadly mistaken. So when you understand these things, when you learn and acquire the information that you need, guess what? Your life is going to change. Where is your attention going? Where is your focus going? Where's your focus going? A lot of us are doing things out of fear. So we're feeding fear. We become the magnet of fear. Your dominant mental database, your dominant thoughts, the stronger they are, the more magnetism they have, the more pull they have. Understand that. Peace, Queen, how are you? Right? So the more you repeatedly tell your past stories, the longer you keep repeating the story, the longer you keep reliving the story. Did y'all hear me? The longer you keep repeating the story, the longer you keep reliving the story. This is what it means when they say you're living in your past. And a lot of you are quick to say, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And that's something that you need to understand if you want better, if you want to be better, if you want to do better. How many times have you heard yourself or your loved ones repeat the same old sob stories? Not to say that they're not irrelevant, but how many times it's the woe is me, it's the victim. Oh, you don't know what happened to me. I've been essayed, I've been abused, and do not misunderstand me when I'm speaking like this. I'm just saying from person because I had to be honest with myself at a certain point, because there was a time that I was a master, I was a master victim. I love being pitied. There's so many times that you don't understand. My mama treated me like this, and my mother abandoned me when I was 3, left me in the park. I've been sexually assaulted and sexually abused and raped and all of these different things, and I got the short end of the stick. I was treated so, and we keep repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding. And guess what's happening, right? That your attention is continually being subtracted. Guess what's happening when you keep repeating the story? You keep reliving it. You keep feeding that same energy. What you feed will grow in power, and what you starve will lose its power. Repeat the stories that you want to live, even if your mind is incapable of perceiving it at the moment. This is called mental programming. Understand that nothing will ever change in your life until you learn how to change the driving force behind your behaviors. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Your thoughts is the mother program. You cannot on a computer, on a keyboard, you cannot program. You cannot reprogram any key on this board. The Y is going to do what the Y is created to do. The Y is going to do what it's programmed to do. You can speak to the Y all you want to all day. Y, I want you to change into an L now. And you can press that Y all day, every day until you turn blue. You can speak positive affirmations until you turn blue. You can say you want money until you turn blue. You can use every element that's natural to the earth as long as you want to, and until you turn blue, baby. But until you understand that, until you deprogram, and then reprogram that Y to compute being the L, baby, it ain't going to change. And that's what we don't understand. There are key principles and elements that are missing when we're speaking about and learning about attraction and manifesting. There's a lot of misconceptions. Where is your attention going? A lot of you have hate, contempt, lack, dis-ease, disease, poverty. A lot of your minds, a lot of your energy is still going there and you don't understand it. Some of y'all know, some of y'all don't. But this is how we grow. Thank you so much for the follow, my loves. Continue tapping the screen. Let's do what it do, right? So let me ask y'all a question. When you think of abundance, what do you think about? Throw out some words. Come on, because I know we have intelligent people with us. When you think of abundance, when you hear abundance, when you think of abundance, what does your brain automatically go to? Anything negative? Everything negative? That's what you think about abundance? Come on now, people. That's not. You think about us. Wealth, spiritual health. Okay, you think about much. Yes, queen. You think about a lot of. Yes, yeah. I knew y'all was some intelligent people. See, this is why I love this side of TikTok, right? You are already vibrating on an abundant frequency. On an abundant frequency. What do I mean? It's a misconception. Sufficient. Yes, my love. It's a misnomer that when we hear abundance, we tend to think about more of what we mainly desire. Typically, when our mind perceives abundant, typically when we are digesting and consuming the frequency of even hearing abundant, we're thinking about more of things that we actually want. You are already abundant. I need y'all to understand this. You are already abundant. The thing that you have to understand about you is that many of us are have an abundance of things that we do not like versus the things that we actually like. And the difference in you being on one side or the other is what? Your energy, your frequency, whether you understand this galactic universal principle or not. Everything is energy and frequency. We just call these things by name. We call the frequency love. We call the frequency hate. We call the frequency money. We call the frequency poverty. We call the frequency depression. We call the frequency happiness, alignment, love, fulfillment. And you are attracting and are a magnet to whatever thoughts are in abundance in your head. Everything is a vibrator. How many of you understand brain and heart coherence, alignment? Right? You are already abundant. You're already attracting. You just don't, a lot of y'all just don't understand why you keep attracting more of what you don't want. Right? And when you don't understand this, guess what? I'm here to tell you the truth. You are self-destructing. I'm going to say this again. The core of you as an infinite living organism, your primary function is to expand, is to evolve, is to grow, is to develop. And the opposite is going to automatically happen whenever you are not growing and expanding. And that opposite is what? Self-destructing. So what we see an example of people self-destructing all day, every day. Cardi B, as an example that I mentioned earlier, what we're seeing from her is self-destruct. What we're seeing from the Will Smiths of the world, what we're seeing from the Sean Puffies of the world, what we're seeing of beautiful people in the world, from the Diana Rosses of the world, what we're seeing from people in the world is that there's self-destruction. When you see people that are deeply depressed, suffer from anxiety, right? When you see people that are suffering, or even yourself that is suffering from deep states of loneliness, hopelessness, pessimism, right? Dis-ease, or in their body, unhealth, they are self-destructing mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, energetically. You're self-destructing. There is no skipping steps. And the universe or God concept don't care what your name is. This universal energy, right? The God concept, the infinite God, doesn't care how much money you have, doesn't care if you're righteous or unrighteous. It doesn't care about your gender. It doesn't care whether you like to be called a dog, a cat, or you want to be a zebra for the day. It does not play perspective. So what you are, who you are, where you are, why you do, it does not play perspective. The universe only understands one language, and that is frequency. Your God concept, right? Understand that the only language it adheres to and responds to is frequency. So guess what? Whether you unknowingly vibrating low on the low frequency or knowingly doing it, guess what you're gonna get? Exactly what you get. You get according to what you vibrate on, not according to what you want. Understand that no matter how many times you verbally speak a thing, everything have to be in alignment. Your magnetism have to be in alignment. If you are speaking love, you have to become love, vibrate on love in order to attract love. You have to increase your magnetism of love. So if you keep attracting people who don't know what love is, number one, who don't understand how to give love, number two, if you keep attracting men and women who only value materialistic things, who don't know nothing about honor, integrity, loyalty, righteous morals, values, right? Respect and discipline, awareness, guess what? Guess what's going to happen, my loves? And this is on a repetitive cycle. We're on a repetitive cycle of going nowhere. Now we're going to be discussing relationships and association with the next slide. You have relationships with everything. This is one of the reasons why many of us don't know who we are right now, because we didn't understand at the time how impressionable we were, how impressionable our minds were. Understand that you did not become who you are unless not unless you didn't become who you are without the influences of your guardians, whomever they were, your friends, educators, all the people that were around you, right? And that means things that you were watching on TV. Remember, energy is everything. What you consume helps to shape what you become. Remember, the God concept doesn't care how young you are. Babies get it too. I sincerely say that babies get it too. If you are in this world, you get it too. A lot of us are who we are because people, places, and things have shaped us. So now many of us are at a crossroad because a lot of us wasn't taught who we truly are on a core level, on a triune level, part mental, soul, spirit, and physical. We wasn't really taught, and that's not to blame the people who taught us, because you can only hand down what you have to hand down. I can't give you what I don't have to give. I cannot give you what is not in me to give. If I don't have a divine righteous perspective and understanding and experience of divine love, how do I give that to you? Of course, I'm going to terrorize you. Of course, I'm going to mistreat you. Of course, I'm going to take advantage of you. Of course, I'm going to destroy you in many ways. Of course, I'm going to keep taking. But that doesn't take away from karmatic experiences. So many of us at our adult age, quote unquote, and I say that loosely, because a lot of us have cycled around the sun 20, 40, 50 plus times, and you're still very immature and childish in your mind. And we can see this, right? In many ways. We're unaware, undisciplined, unaccountable, irresponsible, right? And we lack the understanding that we need. So when you are still operating from a faulty database on who you are, guess what? You're going to remain lost. You have learned your thoughts are also have formed relationships. The stronger the relationship, guess what? The stronger the bond. Ashe. The stronger the relationship, the stronger the bond you have with him, her, or it. It can be a color, it can be a place, it can be a thing, it can be a him, it can be a her. The stronger the connection, the stronger the bond. You have a relationship with everything in your life, a relationship with everything that you've done, everything that you've done, doing, and will continually do. You have a relationship with. You have formed a relationship based upon your thought how to brush your teeth, how to walk, how to talk, how to dance, how to act, how to respond, how to react, how to yell, how to be angry, how to be upset. You have a relationship with everything that you do. No wonder why a lot of us are having identity displacements, because we're not taught to take time. Once we come to a mature age, once we come to this quote unquote level of I'm grown, I can do what I want. You wasn't taught to be grown and do what you want, and taught to actually sit down and reassess how the information that you've been influenced with is affecting your life. A lot of us wasn't taught how to sit down and go inward. A lot of us wasn't taught that understanding who you are on a triune level dictates what you're going to keep going through and experiencing in life. We wasn't taught that. We were taught how to sit, behave, cross our fingers, and be good slaves. That's what we was taught. We was taught how to master running on that hamster wheel. We was taught how to master running on that treadmill, and because we sweating a little bit, we think we doing something. You have a relationship with money. You have a relationship with what you perceive as abundance. Remember, how you associate with a thing is how you experience a thing. How your perspectives also help shape your reality. You have a relationship with time, you have a relationship with hate, fulfillment, health, behaviors, right? Your behaviors and other behaviors. You have a relationship with how you drive, the manners that you drive. You have a relationship with everything. And guess what? How many of us actually form these relationships on our own according to what we truly wanted, what we truly desired, who we truly was authentically? How many children you have heard that have grown up and say, my mother wanted me to be a doctor, a lawyer, a professional in whatever area. My mother or my father wanted that. I never wanted that. Why do you think that is? A part of your journey in life should also be you caring enough about you to sit down, pull back, and reassess who you are, where you are, and why you're there, especially if you want something different in your life. Remember, the stronger the relation, the stronger the bond, the stronger the connection. And if you continually keep feeding these connections, relationships, if you keep feeding these programs, guess what? Your body releases chemicals. We're addicted to so many different people, places, and things, and many of us are clueless that we are. Why do you think you keep finding yourself in toxic lives? Going back and forth, talking about, I'm just sharing my perspective. Why do you think you're so drawn to toxicity? Why do you think you're so drawn to people who lack a lot of things? Why do you think you're so drawn to certain foods? You can have, we all have chemical addictions. This is why when I teach the 7 principles of self mastery, you have to be aware. You have to be aware. Self awareness is key in self mastery. You have to acknowledging where you are and who you are at your current state is important in learning how to master self in your reality. Being accountable for for where you are and who you've become and who you want to become, right? Assessing where you are, reassessing where you are, become the project manager of you, of your life, and stop, for the love of all things pure, blaming other people, places, and things as to why you have or do not have, why you not where you want to be. You have to understand it's in order to grow, to evolve, to learn how to master self. Now, if this message ain't for you, if you dare not to want to elevate, if you're comfortable running on a hamster wheel, by all means, I can respect that. Just do that over there. I'm speaking to men and women who are actually sick and tired of being sick and tired and actually want better for them lives. For their lives. And if you're saying you would, you know the quote, oh, I'll die for mine, I'll be unalive for mine, I'll give mine a lung. Some of us will be quick to give our loved ones one of our organs, but you're not quick to invest in your self-development and elevation and expanding. You're not quick to sit your ass down somewhere and read a little bit. You're not quick to remove yourself from the toxic shit that you engage in right now. And how is that working out? Assess where you are. Assess why you doing the things that you do. Assess why you are where you are. Learn the attachments that you are attached to, people, places, and things. Learn why you keep repeating the same stories, why you keep living in the past. Learn why you're so addicted to chasing a bag. Learn why you keep making excuses and justifications, rhymes, or reason as to why you hate, as to why you don't know how to love, as to why you're sick in many ways, as to why you're unhealthy, as to why you're not where you want to be. Ask yourself these questions and really be serious about and accept the damn answer. I had to do all of these things. Thank you so much for the gifts, my loves. I had to do all of these things. You have to really sit down and be real with yourself. I'll never forget. I was on my journey, and there's going to be many moments, but I'll never forget. I laugh about it now because it was funny, and I laughed then. But I had to look at my life. I was also influenced by people, places, and things in my life. I was raised to think that being promiscuous was okay. I was raised to think that if you give a man this, they'll give you that. I was raised like that. That was me. So I understand that. Even though I know my soul and my spirit was just like, listen, something got to give. Because if you giving them this, in order in return you want love, to get respect, baby, it ain't working. It ain't working out like that. And so guess what I became addicted to? Okay, I became addicted to operating in an area of my root chakra. I became addicted to sex. I thrived for it. I lived for it. Okay, I didn't know a thing about energy centers. I didn't know a thing about enough about myself, right? But that was my deep influence, which became a dominant relationship, a bond that I had in regard to sex, in regard to love, right? And one day I looked in the mirror. I'll never forget, baby. I looked in the mirror and I was on my journey and I was happy. At that moment, I remember being really happy and really joyful. And I looked in the mirror and I said, Venus, you are a HEO. You show is. And you need to stop. I laughed so hard at myself. I didn't crucify myself. I didn't beat myself up, right? But I knew I had to be real with myself because I was making all these justifications. Oh, well, I'm horny. Oh, well, a woman got her needs, okay? And I just need that scratched. And I just need to fulfill this. And this is the reason why this, because I was raised to do this. And I made all type of excuses, baby, until, listen, I had to tell myself some hard truths. I had to tell myself that, Venus, you can't be both the victim and the victor at the same damn time. You're going to have to choose what you want to be. Because I was a master victim. That victim mentality, and I also taught a master class on the victim versus the victor. I was a master, baby. I love for my back to be stroked. I love to be pitied. Okay. I got a kick out of being pitied and holding my head down and playing this role, putting on this mask. I was so addicted to being the victim. I didn't even realize how I became such had my I didn't understand at the time how I got to this victimship mentality, but I was there. And I got tired of playing the game. Like, how can I walk outside? And I've always been a confident woman, right? I've always been a confident woman in many ways. I was good at pretending, baby. But no amount of clothes, good clothes, expensive clothes, no amount of money I had in my pocket, okay, could deny me the truth. I was unhappy inside. I was tired of holding my head down. I was tired of people stroking me and woe is me and them giving me pity parties. Because why? I couldn't simultaneously be pity and be strong and operate in my power. I couldn't simultaneously be powerless and powerful. So I had to pick and choose. If I was going to walk with my back straight, if I was going to walk with my head straight, if I was going to move forward, unashamed, accountable, and responsible, I had to do what? Stand in my power. I don't want you to stroke my back no more. I don't want you to feel sorry for me no more. I'm not no victim to this. I understand that I chose to do certain things and now I'm choosing to do something else. Hi, my sweetheart. I miss you too. That's my son and one of my heartbeats. One of my heartbeats. How are you? That's my youngest heartbeat right there. This kid, bro. That is my actual young heartbeat. Right there in the live. Right? I had to choose. Venus, what you want to be? Because you can't be both at the same time, not simultaneously. You're going to have to do a deep dive. I was always interested in psychology, the mind, even though I didn't realize the terms, I was always interested in the why. I need to know the why. And then once you give me the why, I need to know the why you gave me the why. And the why, the why, the why. I needed to understand that. And that started according to my awareness when I came to and understanding why do I do the things I do, right? And so you have to take accountability and you have to acquire the information that you need so you can apply. You can apply it. So the law, sociology was my interest. Yes, Queen. I love all of these. Anything that have to do with us, I enjoy. And yes, the process was quite difficult at times. It was quite difficult having to relearn the things that I learned. It was quite difficult for me to understand that, hey, I was being tricked. I was being bamboozled. Okay. Because I once too. At some point in time, I really thought some magical person in the sky was really coming to save me one day. I really thought that I can do what I wanted to do, right? And there would be no consequences. I thought I can just do what I do, just mess over people and do all the just do unrighteous ish, right? And I can just go lay it out to altar, wipe my hands, ask for forgiveness, baby, and slip on and sip on that wine, right? And take that cracker, right, that they gave me, and all is forgiven. My slate is white clean, right? I was once under that program. That program wasn't for us. And I'm not disrespect by all means. I have probably one person that's a Christian in my life that I completely enjoy. So this is no disrespect to those who subscribe to that religion. I'm speaking about the concept. I could no longer do that. It wasn't serving me. I had to realize that, hey, I need to save myself. I need to understand that the same infinite source of creation that created all things also created me. And I'm also one with that infinite source of creation, that infinite power. We are one and the same. So guess what? I have the ability and the authority to do what? Stand in my power. And I don't need nobody else to tell me that I'm powerful. I don't need nobody in the sky on the ground, in the ground to tell me how powerful I am, to tell me that I vibrate, I can vibrate on an energetic frequency to manipulate energy. Okay? I don't need nobody to tell me that. Okay? I know nobody ain't coming to save me. I now understand that I am one with I am one with nature. I am one with water. I am one with the earth. I am one with you. Okay? I ain't begging and pleading nothing. When you understand who you are and you understand self mastery and start practicing it, baby, you know how to stand and command. Stand and command. How the hell you going to anybody asking anything? I know I'm a sinner and I know I don't deserve it and I know I did a baby, hold your head up. Hold your head up high. You did what you did. Be accountable, be responsible, okay, and do better. But what I don't encourage you to do is act like you powerless walking around in these streets. What I don't expect you to do is keep on blaming other people, places, and things. What I don't expect you to do is act like you don't have the will and the power to choose to do better. Right? The law of cause and effect. We on the next slide over here. If you're just joining me, you are more than welcome to hop on over to YouTube, right? My YouTube channel is Venus the Goddess. I'm actually teaching a master class. And if you want to view the slides so you can also get the visual with the audible, you're more than welcome to hop over there, communicate with me so you can actually see the slides that I'm teaching from, right? And also, it's helping me because I am building my other platforms, mainly YouTube, right? Because one of the reasons is our voice matters because there's too much misguided information out there, too much. And so I'm going to play my part. I'm just not going to get on here talking about the issues and the problems we have. I'm not going to get on here and degrade and emasculate and defeminize my brothers and sisters, my mothers, my fathers, my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, my aunts, my friends, I'm not going to do that. You can still teach and educate and be passionate and be raw and be authentic, right? And be funny and charismatic. You can do all of these things. You can guide, you can even correct in love, right? Without being disrespectful, without having disdain for one another, without causing divide. I don't need to prove no point by degrading someone else. I don't need to share my perspective, but and simultaneously putting somebody else down. Like some of these people are so foolish and are disgusting. Okay, disgusting, disgusting. Off to the dungeon, to the dungeon. Some of y'all just need to go straight to the dungeon because y'all don't need to be amongst the population. Y'all don't love yourself and y'all don't love nobody else. It is so disgusting the type of things that I hear from both men and women. If you ask if there's anything that burns me up more than disrespectful, dishonorable, foolish men and women, like sprinkle, okay? Like all of the other disgusting people on these platforms, the gurus and the black and those people. I don't even want to give no energy to your name, but I'm giving a little bit of energy to talk about the disgusting things that you're doing. You don't have to tell women they done hit the wall because they are a certain age. You don't have to tell the feminine that she's not valuable because she got 3 kids and that she gonna forever be alone with 100 cats. You don't need to tell a man that he's a Pookie or a Ray Ray or a Dusty because he don't want to buy you a damn Fendi bag. Like, this is foolish. All this gender warming, you can get your point of court and your perspective talking about you some type of damn guru, you a mentor, and you are part of the community. You talking to your baby, you shouldn't be doing nothing. To the dungeon. To the dungeon. It's disgusting. Solutions, yes. Provide solutions and I still give it to you raw sometimes. You can still be passionate without the warring and segregation. You can still teach. Yes, you should be teaching women about the certain characteristics of a man that is purposely out to destroy you. Yes, teach that. We need to be aware. You can teach men how certain women are out for his bag and his bag alone. Teach that. But all of the disrespect and the foolishness, baby, this is one of the reasons why our earth right now, Mother Earth, okay? And she is a she. Mother Earth, she is the divine feminine. This is one of the reasons why she's replenishing herself. This is one of the reasons why you see so much destruction, chaos. This is why we're seeing so much of the falling and the crashing and the breaking of these unrighteous systems, because there is order is being reestablished. Far too long we've been living under, in, and surrounded by patriarchal systems, masculine, dominant masculine systems, religious systems, and dogmas and philosophies that were never created for us. Ladies, I encourage you, men, I encourage you, stop consuming this BS. Stop it, because it is hurting you in more ways than one. There is a law. One of the divine universal laws is cause and effect, which we're about to get into. And the universal law of cause and effect states that, which we know, that for every effect, there's a definite cause. Likewise, for every cause, there is a definite effect. What do you think you're going to continually attract towards you if you keep thinking you're going to keep causing shit and not have the effects come back at you? Come on now. Like we got to stop giving our attention to these people. And I don't, for me, my perspective is, let me tell you something. I ain't fooling with you if I ain't fooling with you. I don't want to be nowhere near your environmental circumference, nowhere near your energetic field. Because guess what? I'm not fool enough to think that I can jump in the pool and not get wet. Understand that every infinite being projects their aura, your energy centers, the top energy center, your top. Okay, this is your eighth chakra, your eighth energy center, your aura. This is your auric field, right? It projects, at least I think it's, don't quote me on this. I think it projects 3 feet outside of you at all times. So if you think you're gonna connect and be in the same circumference and environment as people that are so low frequency, that have such a low frequency, that are disgusting, and share platforms with them and conversations with them, just because they don't treat you how they treat other people, baby, you still being affected. I don't fuck with you. If I say I don't mess with a pedophile, I don't care if you're my friend. You can be my mammy, my daddy, my son, my uncle, my brother. I don't condone with you. So condone what you do. So guess what? I'm not fooling with you. Because every decision you make influences your environment, right? I don't engage with people who share and promote this rhetoric, who continually degrades, emasculates, defeminizes women or men. Do I agree with some of the things people say? Absolutely. But if the core of who you are is continually embedded in this misogynistic, right? Feminist, I say that because there's toxic feminists too. I don't want no dealing with you, but cause and effect, baby, I don't know about you, but I'll take a physical ass whooping over a spiritual cosmic ass whooping any day. And when you get your behind beat long enough, you will start to learn that it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Your reality is shaped by what? Your decisions, your habits, your beliefs, your values, your actions, your emotions, your behaviors, your mental programs, your motherboard. Your feelings leads to your thoughts leads to your feelings. This is how your behaviors are created. This is how your reality is created. Your dominant mental database, your thoughts leads to your feelings leads to your emotions leads to your actions, and your actions creates your results. Hence, your reality. Check your receipt, baby. Check your receipt. I'm not fooling with you. I'm not effing with you for no goddamn likes. I'm not effing with you for no pennies. I'm not effing with you for no amount of money if you are a disgusting individual. not for no reason, right? The laws of cause and effect. These are the things that are shaping your reality, and these are the things that influences the effects of what you're causing. So if you want different effects, guess what? Create behaviors that are going to cause the behaviors that are going to create different effects. Create different behaviors that is going to cause different effects. Because that's what we out for, right? We want different effects. We want different results. So if you want different results, if you want a new reality, different reality, even if you want more money, ain't nothing wrong or unrighteous about it. I'm not against it. I'm against chasing anything, right? I'm against prioritizing anything over your soul and your soul purposes. So if you want more money, if you want a bigger house, if you want a smaller house, if you want more materialistic things, if you want more love, if you want more peace, if you want more serenity, more serendipities, you have to understand that you have to reverse engineer what's causing your results in the first place. And when you reverse engineer, you have to go back to the core, which means you have to unlearn, to relearn some things. You have to understand, why are you making the decisions you're making? You have to understand why your habits are your habits, right? Your decisions, habits, beliefs, right? Your core values, your mental programs. These are all the things that influences and contributes to the effects that you're seeing in your life. And truth be told, a lot of us aren't happy with them. A lot of us aren't happy with the results. Your life receipts, baby, ain't gonna lie. They not lying. So meanwhile, there's a lot of people hooping and hollering and talking about, yeah, I'm about that life, okay? And I got this and I got that and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Baby, a lot of them are absolutely miserable. I don't know. I probably know one person that have money. One person that have money. And I sense that her sincerity and her authenticity and her telling and her showing how happy and joyful she is, baby, I believe that. Amongst 8+ billion people on this planet, why do we hear often millionaires, billionaires, multi-millionaire billionaires tell you out of their own mouths how lonely, miserable, unhappy, unmotivated they are? Don't know what to do with themselves. How many? Like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Okay. Is it worth it? It's not worth it. Like, we have to get real with ourselves. And let me just tell you, it's okay if you don't want to be a millionaire, if you don't want to be it's okay. It's okay not to want to be financially rich. It's okay to desire inner peace, serendipity, and joy. It's okay to have what you need to navigate in, through, and out of the seasons of your life in this planet. That's okay too, right? The law of cause and effect. You are going to get what you give. How are you doing, beautiful? Hey, Ray, how are you, my love? Right? Your thoughts, behaviors, actions create specific results that manifest and shapes your reality. Some of this is real simple. Some of us focus on so much of what we did and what we're doing and what we don't want more than what we actually want. Focus more on who you want to become. That's also a key. The art of becoming. Create the stories that you want to live. This is how and manipulating energy, okay, is the divine concept and principle. One of the divine purposes outside of you being excuse me, of you being an organism, right? We have many divine purposes. Another one of the purposes outside of expanding and growing as a living organism, right, is to learn how to manipulate energy, manipulate frequency, because you are frequency. Manipulate the way a lot of us perceive manipulation more times than none is in a negative context. It's not always the case. There is always both sides. There are always two sides to a coin, three. There's the yang, and there's the harmony in between that connects them to. There's righteous and unrighteous. There's up and down. There's north and south. There's right and wrong. There's righteous, unrighteous. There's feminine and masculine. There's positive and negative. There's always going to be duality. You cannot separate one from the other, just like you can't separate yourself from your shadow. You and your shadow is one. Right? So the best thing you can do in self-mastery is also understand that you can't have one without the other. You can't expect to have joy and bliss and serendipity and all things righteous and all things desirable without also having suffering. You cannot think that you're just going to play on one side of the coin and not experience the other. The goal of the game is to vibrate in the middle. Learn how to manipulate the energy so you are in harmony with things. Not to say that you always have to be in harmony. And one of those practices is understanding the art of becoming, because it's not so much about the healing, it's about becoming. A lot of you went crazy with this shadow work journey and really didn't understand. One, you playing with principalities and spiritualities that a lot of y'all ain't about that life. Respectfully and sincerely, we have to understand that. When we talk about doing shadow work, we talk about doing spiritual work. And a lot of you, in order to really get to the core of things, you need guidance for that. You need to understand the things that will happen. It's not a game. And y'all got people out here talking, y'all paying people to teach you how to hex other people. Like some of us are playing dangerous games. Dangerous games. We got people out here just doing all type of unrighteous shit. Putting love spells on people. You inadequate, deficient, lazy ass being. Like, you have to understand who you are and gain the information that you need, because if you don't, you're going to be a target for people, for you're going to be an easy target for people who are out for you. You're going to be easily swayed and easily manipulated in an unrighteous way. Why? This is why a lot of us are so swayed and get so charismatic. Talking about, yeah, girl, preach. Yeah, boy, preach. Do this thing. And yep. And next thing you know, you're agreeing to cursing your own self and your own life and your own generations because of the foolishness. You think it's cute? Talking about you hexing a man that did you wrong. Oh, you forgot the part where you allowed that man to treat you wrong. You forgot the part that you consented to banging that man, smashing that man, and now because he don't want you no more, now you talking about you burning a candle with his name on it. We have got to do better, people. We have got to do better. We really do. The art of becoming. One of the one of the keys and practices of self-mastery is to understand the art of becoming, right? The philosophy of becoming. What does it mean to you? What and who are you becoming? Do you like yourself right now? Are you happy with yourself right now? Like, completely. No matter how much money you have in the bank or on your person, No matter who you have in your life, no matter your job, no matter your career, like, are you happy? Are you joyful? Are you? Are you satisfied with the person you are? Because if you're not, I would encourage you to be focused on who you're becoming. Spend more of your time becoming more than you are focusing on who you're coming from, where you're coming from, right? Put a one in the comment, put a one in the section. Put a one, put a one in the comment section, no matter what platform you are on. No matter if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. Put a one if you want a better version of you, if you want more. It's nothing wrong or unrighteous about wanting more, whether it's more love, whether it's more peace, whether it's more serendipity, it's just more joy. You just want to be happy no matter what's going on in the world. I can honestly tell you, I wake up with such a joy, such a bliss in my heart. I'm not in a romantic relationship. I'm not a millionaire, nor do I want to be. And I am joyful and happy. I have everything I need. And if I need something, want something, desire something, guess what? I get it. I see the ones. That's important to understand. Focus on who you want to take the time. Yes, you're going to have to write a little bit. Yes, you're going to have to also read a little bit. But there are people out there like me that have been through it that can show you. I'm not going to help you skip steps. I'm going to help you stand in the step. I'm going to give you some practical knowledge, experiences along with that to help you get through it, because I understand a lot of what many of you don't at this point. And I know a little bit about a lot of things. I don't know everything about everything, never profess to, but I know a lot. I know a little bit about a lot of things, and I know a lot more than what many of us need to know. If you are an infinite being, it is one of your purposes to grow and to expand and to be blissful and to be joyful. You can still be in a storm and not be in fear. You can still be in a storm and not be discouraged, but encouraged. You can still be in a storm and be unwavered and unbothered. I too am still moving in through and out of life experiences, but guess what? Even when it rains, even when it pours, even when it thunders, guess what? I'm smiling in my heart. Now, some situations, yeah, the baby, they get me a little weak in the knees, right? I ain't gonna hold you. They get me weak in the knees, especially when you are ascending. Understand that when you profess, when one of your priorities and your goal is to elevate and to master spirituality, cosmic and divine things, baby, guess what? You're going to go through some things. I've been there, right? I'm still in there. Spiritual elevation, baby, is something. And it's okay to want someone by your side that can coach you, help you, just guide you through it. Whether it's them speaking life into you, giving you suggestions, right? Helping you navigate through it, or just simply being there, because I can't cross the finish line for you. But I can be there with you. But I don't force, I flow. So you have to willingly choose that this is what you want. Why do you think you're here right now? My beautiful souls on TikTok, my beautiful people on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Why do you think you here? There is no such things. Don't let nobody fool you. There is no such things as luck, coincidence, or happenstance. Everything Everything, no matter if it's macro or micro or macro, happens to you happens for a divine reason. You are exactly where you need to be, should be, and supposed to be in this very second. You are here because you're vibrating on the same frequency I am. Congratulations. Because there's no other way we could have crossed each other's paths. You don't just haphazardly cross people's paths. You just don't. This is the truth of things we have to understand. The universe, God, your ancestors will always give you what you need to surpass the current level you're on. Always. And when you understand that you don't have to have no fear, you don't have to be discouraged, you don't have to do that, baby, you're going to always have what you need. It may not come when you think you want it to come. It may not be what you wanted. It may not come through the person you wanted it to come through to. It may not come in the same lane, but baby, I can guarantee you that it is always going to come, and it is always going to come right on time. The last masterclass that I gave, outside of TikTok, because I give free master classes all the time. This is one of them. But I got a call from a young lady, and I extended the offer for her to call me because she was really going through some traumatic things, right? And I'm speaking to the situation, not her personally. She was personally going through some really traumatic things. She was facing some real tough things. And let me tell you something. I missed her first phone call, but when I finally responded to her, after that live, and I'm not saying I take full sole responsibility, however, I understand that I was there purpose to be in her life, and she was purpose to be in that particular master class, right? Guess what? 2 weeks later, she not only got the job that she think that she didn't think she was gonna have, making more money, and she is secure in a home. When you understand what energy frequency alignment is, and when you understand these practices, when you have the tools that you need, baby, no matter what comes your way, no matter what happens, you are able to transition in through and out it smoothly. I know this to be facts, truth. Fear is the number one destroyer of infinite beings. And we're living in times where the wicked ones, their agenda, okay, their contract is over. Okay, they already lost. However, that does not stop them from doing everything they can to distract you. Why do you think there are politics? Why do you think there is government? Why do you think there is entertainment? Who do you think run all of these distractions? Who do you think run them all? But guess what? Nobody's forcing you to consume it. You're becoming what you are consuming. Consume something else and stop being distracted. Everything you consume affects you in some way. Don't think that you can listen to low vibrational, low frequency music, right? That's talking all types of trash, right? And teaching you all types of unrighteous, unjust doings, unjust to act in unbecoming behaviors of a righteous, divine, feminine, or masculine being. Okay. And you still gonna be all right. You ain't. How many of you ever went to the gym and listened to Beethoven or Bach or jazz? I mean, come on, I'll wait. How many? I mean, you may have there may be some exceptions to the rule, right? But most times when you in the gym, you need something upbeat, you need something to get you in that vibe. And guess what? When you're not paying attention to what you're consuming, and then all of a sudden your reality hit you with them receipts. Okay, just because the effects are not showing up right away doesn't mean that they aren't going to show up. Think about a person that has a dis-ease in their body, a life-threatening dis-ease in your body. Learn your body, listen to your body, listen to you. How many times we've heard stories of people who we love going to the doctor and the doctor giving them sometimes accurate information and telling them, hey, you in stage 3, you in stage 4. How many stories we've heard like that? This is a sad truth. It is scary. It is scary, Brian. And a lot of us, we think that just because we haven't been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, hopelessness, personality disorder, right? Dysfunctions, all types of addictions. You think because you're not seeing the immediate effects or results of them that you good, that you fine. Baby, you not. You not. Because if you think you can continually sharing your precious energy, sexing around, using people, manipulating people in an unjust way, not loving, excuse me, not loving people, not loving yourself, baby. Something is working. Something is okay. It's being fed. Just because you don't think you're feeding something doesn't mean that you're not feeding something or someone. Every decision you make is like throwing a pebble in a pond. There are going to be ripples. And the severity of those ripples is going to be determined by the weight of your decision, right? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Okay. Let me see some blue hearts if you understand what I'm saying. I love one of my favorite colors is blue. Let me see some blue hearts. Let me see you comment. Put a 1 in the comments or put some hearts. Let's see you understand what I'm saying. Thank you, my love. I see the hearts coming up, right? You have to understand this. Where is the mirror when you need it? Facts, but we aren't afraid of ripples. Yeah, a lot of us, we don't really, the consequences aren't great enough for some of us. Sometimes it takes a person to be undergo or have extreme situations happen to them before they can actually be like, you know what, let me slow my roll. Thank you for let's get the likes up, my people. Let my beautiful people, let's get the likes up. We've been on here for quite some time now. Let's get the likes up. Let's do what it do. Let's do what it do. Okay. Let's do what it do. Okay. Most times I don't get through the whole presentation because I let the spirit do what the spirit do. So we're on the next slide right now. So I thank you so much. Infinite gratitude for all of y'all participation, for you sharing your energy with me, for you sharing your love and your attention with me, and for you taking the steps to actually gain some information and some knowledge. Because some of y'all can spend 4-5 hours in a toxic ass live, but won't spend the same amount of time educating yourself, right? Learning something that can really help your life and the lives of your loved ones, change the trajectory of your reality and the reality of your loved ones, right? And so we're getting better. We are absolutely getting better with that. So the next the next thing we're gonna speak about, we love you women and us. If we were you, we wouldn't like us. Yeah, we need to, the balance is definitely being restored. Harmony is definitely being restored. Yeah, it's been lopsided for far too long, right? It's been lopsided for far too long. So understanding energy, right? Understanding the misnomers, right? The truths. When we are listening to or trying or understanding attraction and manifesting, right? There are some truths and there's some facts, there's some misnomers. There's just some people who are miseducated in this, and some of them may have really good intentions, but just because you have good intentions don't mean that you are not leading people astray. Just because you have good intentions does not mean that you are misguiding other people, right? attentions don't really play a part when it comes to you being a direct influence to other people, especially when it comes to you teaching on any area about self-development, psychology, right? Mentoring or coaching or psychoanalyzing anybody. If you do not have an accurate, right, scientific, universal principles, right? That's indisputable. You can have your opinions, you can have your perspectives, you can have your ideologies, right? You can share all of those things. But some of us need to understand that certain information, and if you do your own due diligence, right, you will understand this. You would understand that even though women on a physical level, biologically, women are more right-brained and men are more left-brained. However, if you listen to rhetoric that only displays and suggests that men or women are incapable of doing certain things, you are unlearned and being misguided. When you consider the facts of chemistry, when you consider the facts of frequency, when you consider the facts that you are not just the physical, which deals with biology, you are also spirit, soul, energy, frequency. You are absolutely capable of using both sides of your brain. You are absolutely capable of love, no matter if you are man or woman, because love is not only the attributes of it. Love is a frequency. And if you are a divine being with a soul and a spirit, you are frequency, which means you have the ability to manipulate frequency. You have the ability to learn some things, to relearn some things, and then to act on them things, to behave differently. Everyone, man or woman, have the capability of changing their behavior patterns. Is it going to be more challenging for one or the other, depending on the circumstances, depending on the environment, depending on the influences, depending on a lot of other things? Absolutely, yes. Hold on. Pardon me. Absolutely, yes. However, when you don't understand this, when you're easily just swept away by someone's just their wit, right, and they may speak truth in certain things, when you're just carried away by their charisma, right, you can be misguided, and then you can be put in a position where you're creating a reality that you don't really want, that is not really beneficial for you. You begin feeding a person that you're not going to be happy with, and I know you're not. So these misconceptions are, you have to learn for yourself too. Don't just take my word for it. I always encourage you, don't just take my word for it. Do your own research. You don't have to even read the whole book about a certain thing. Just if I tell you, right? If I was to say to you that men or women are incapable of certain things, right? And I can give you scientific facts, but if I don't give you the whole fact, if I just give you facts that only push and supports my perspective and my narrative that is going against what I'm building, then hey, a lie is, or a liar telling a lie means that you're also omitting the truth. You can't give or part truth. You can't give part truth, because that also implies that you're being manipulating. You're being manipulative, and not in the greatest way, not in a righteous way. Hang on one second. Pardon me, I had to respond to a text, right? And so if you don't have your own mind to just take a second or two, a few, or just look up the things that people are saying, especially when you are applying it to your life, you're missing it. You're missing it. It can discourage you, right? It can put you in places that and energies and frequencies that you don't want to be in. Should we be giving tips? Should we be giving information? Should we be speaking about biology, chemistry? Should we be speaking about chemistry and quantum physics and sociology and environment, spiritual things, cosmic things? Yes, we should be teaching and sharing all of these different things. However, if you never understand, right? If you never research for yourself, and when you do the research, allow it your spirit and your soul to assess it. Your intuition, your first body will never lie to you. We ignore our inner truths. We know when something just doesn't sit right, but because you all wrapped up in emotions and a charisma of certain things, the feel good, the fix, right? Because you so wrapped up and hooked on the dopamine hit that you get, you don't even realize how you're destroying yourself, how you're contributing to the self-destruction, and how you're contributing to the destruction of earth frequency as well, not just you. Men and women are very important. Your soul is very important. Understanding who you truly are, how you dominantly operate is important for yourself to know. Unless you like continually letting people talk for you, think for you, lead you, and guide you. You want to continually be somebody's puppet? Like, I mean, if you do, okay. Souls are important. Have there been some trashy, despicable men? Still, we still, yes, are there? Have we had? Are there? Absolutely, yes. And you should absolutely stay away from them. Have there been some despicable and are some despicable women? Absolutely. And you should absolutely stay away from them. However, remember I said about you can't separate yourself from yourself. You can't play just one side of the fence because the universal laws and principles don't work that way. There are beautiful men and beautiful women on this planet who absolutely vibrate on the frequency of love. And not only do they do that, their actions support it, whether it's the majority or not. It's a contributing factor where it implies. In this case that I'm using, it's irrelevant. If you are a triune infinite being, baby, you're capable of doing more than you think. Are you capable of reversing your mental thought processes? Even though you may not be able to change your biological nature, there is a thing called genetics. There's a thing called gene expression. We're still on the physical side. These are the things that you don't know when you're listening to certain rhetoric. These are some things that you don't know. You can absolutely change the proteins in your body. Look up epigenetics, gene expression. Yeah, there are dominant genes, dominant proteins that are handed down, transferred from the mother to the child, from the father to the woman to the child, our offspring, absolutely. But it's also a concept of and philosophy and science of epigenetics, which states and have been proven that you can actually change your gene expression. Now, that's on the physical side. You can change the frequency of your thoughts process, no matter how dominant they are. Because the minute you stop feeding it, the minute they start to lose its power, right? That's true. So, that means you're capable. On a cosmic side, on a spiritual side, right? On a frequency side, on a galactic side, on a quantum side, that means the flesh ain't nowhere in it because you're not this avatar. So when we're speaking about what men and women are capable of doing, what you're capable of doing and understanding, baby, is infinite and is phenomenal, right? You're absolutely capable of changing your frequency. And since you are soul spirit first, that means this avatar is going to do whatever you command it to do, not the physical you, not the physical you, the soul spirit you. So pay attention to the information that you're consuming and learn how to filter with intelligence, awareness, and wisdom and discipline. This is all still a part of self mastery. This is all a part of the reasons why you are attracting more or less of what and who you actually want in your life. You have to understand this and stop just jumping on every bandwagon just because they have wheels and rolls. Stop it. Stop it, especially if you're going to keep on complaining. Stop it. Stop doing it. But if you continue to do it, just be quiet. No one's forcing. Thank you so much for the gifts, my loves. Understand that no one can force your will. Y'all have to understand that no one can literally force your will. So understanding who you are is also understanding energy. Understanding manifesting, understanding attraction is also understanding who you are, right? Listen, I'm gonna repost a video, but those of you who are actually on the YouTube, let me tell you something. I put a lot of work and effort into these presentations, into like creating and put a lot of thought, right, and energy so you can visually see what's going on. Because sometimes a lot of times when you visually see, right, when you're visually stimulated with certain sensory indicators and information, you actually process it better. Your brain and your body is more receptive to it. And in some cases, right? So right now we moved on to the boomerang effect. What's the boomerang effect? It all ties into the reasons why you're attracting what and who you're attracting. So once again, if you want to come on over here real quick to YouTube, if you want to actually see the visual aspects and visual part of what I'm talking about when I speak of the boomerang effect. So I want to, and we're still talking about cause and effect, right? How things, people, and opportunities are drawn to you, right? You have you have coherence, then you have this energy, this frequency, right? You have your heart, which is thank you so much for the gift, my love. I appreciate you. You have your heart, right? Your heart, the frequency of your heart, the vibration they call love. This is also considered a brain, right? Your heart operates on its own, in its own, like it has its own frequency. So when you understand that heart and brain coherence is needed for you to get into alignment, when you understand this, when I tell you magical things are going to begin to happen in your life, a lot of things that are happening that are not to our satisfaction is because you have heart and brain in coherence. It's not in alignment. Your heart is the magnet that attracts, that pulls in the people, places, and things that you are attracting. Your mind is the signal, the stimuli, right? The neurological transmitters that sends the messages to the universe. So your mind sends the universe, your mind sends the thoughts, your commands, via your frequencies, your messages to the universe or God concept, and then it comes back, and then your heart begins to vibrate on it, and it further pulls the things into your life, and it happens on a continual 360 loop in your life. Your heart is the magnet for receiving, and it pulls things to you. So, whatever frequency that's in your heart, if you have love in your heart, if you have hate in your heart, if you have contentment in your heart, if you have disdain in your heart, if you have hopelessness in your heart, if you have disparity in your heart, if you have lack in your heart, whatever your heart is feeling, whether you're aware of it or not, is pulling these situations to you that is going to feed whatever frequency, whatever is magnetic, the parallel magnet to whatever it is. So if you want to begin to pull different things towards you, you have to begin to send different signals, okay? Brain and heart coherence. Your brain, your mental database, your motherboard has to vibrate on the same frequency, right? Long enough for your heart to pick it up, and then your heart to be strengthened and on that same frequency long enough for it to draw it to you. And then you have to understand that you are going to have to cultivate those frequencies and those energies. What happens when you start, say, if I stop using my right arm and I'm right-handed, guess what's going to happen? My right arm, the muscles, the neurons, the transmitters, the sparks, the blood flow, guess what? It's going to lose power. It's going to lie dormant. It's not going to be as operable as my left hand, right? What you don't cultivate, you don't get to use. What you don't cultivate, you don't get to use. So a lot of the times when, let's say, when life is playing, when you think life is playing games with you, when you think your money is playing games with you, when you are having this, what I call the ping pong effect, right? With your money, you get money, you lose money, you get money, you lose money. You attract someone good, you lose. You attract someone, you lose them. You attract someone, not lose in the sense that anything is ever lost, but now they come, they go, they come, they go. You get, you get, you give, you get, you give, you have, you don't have, right? With anything in your life, is because you're not in the knowing that you need to cultivate whatever energy and frequency you have and you want. You don't get to keep what you don't go cultivate. This is why the quicker some of us obtain money and attract money, the quicker we lose it, because you're not really understanding how brain and heart coherence work. You're not really understanding the inner workings of these things. How can you say you're a mechanic if you don't know a damn thing about engine? You probably can't even spell engine. How you calling yourself a mechanic and you don't know the inner workings of a car and all of the all of the moving pieces of the car? How can you call yourself a surgeon if you know not what the tools are? If you don't know what they do, how to use them, how can you call yourself a mechanic or a physician or a lawyer or a doctor or a ballet dancer or a coach or anything that you profess if you don't take the time to be a life student? Self mastery is not only gaining the knowledge and the information and the understanding that you need, it's also you continually cultivating these things as you move in, through, and out of the seasons of life. This is how this works. You don't all of a sudden, like, I got, and understand that, yeah, meanwhile you never lose something, right? But your muscle memory, your brain memory, you can weaken it by not feeding it. Think about the concept and the effects of someone that's malnutrition. You have to understand and cultivate it. So your brain is the signal. Your when I talk about brain and heart coherence, your brain is the signal. Your brain, your thoughts, your mind are the signals, are the transmitters. It's called neuroscience. Like I speak about, I pull things from many different areas. Like I've studied, and not everything. I don't know everything about, everything about everything, but I've always been interested. Like I read books on neuroscience, behavioral science, psychological science, right? Quantum physics, quantum mechanics, right? Psychology. biology, sociology, right? People, right? Behavioral sciences. I'm just a lover of books and information. Always have. Like I enjoy that, right? So you have to understand that, yeah, you need the knowledge to these things. You need to understand, especially when it comes to you, especially when it comes to the life that you live in, the life that you want to live. You have to understand these things. There is no skipping steps. There is no skipping steps. So you have to understand these things. And I know it may seem like an overload, or I know it may seem like a lot, but baby, I didn't get here overnight. I didn't learn and wasn't able to operate in self-mastery the way I'm operating in it now overnight, right? And I'm still learning, still growing, still expanding, right? I had to keep at it. No one ever reached the top of Mount Everest. No man or woman who have ever climbed and made it to the top of Mount Everest ever got there, pardon me, ever got there by simply thinking about it, by simply just saying, I want to get to the top. I want to get to the top. Okay. None of them did that. They did a combination of those things. They thought it, they seen it, they spoke it, and guess what they did next? They took one step after the other, one step after the other, one step after the other. And periodically, guess what they did? They sat their ass down and they rested. They knew they had to rest. It's okay to rest. It's okay to take breaks. But what are you doing in the breaks? When you say you healing, when you say you're celibate, when you say you're not dating, when you say you're not engaging, when you say you're pulling back, like what are you doing in the process? What are you really doing? Remember what I said in the beginning. One of your primary functions, I dare to say your first primary function as an infinite living organism, an infinite living being, is to expand, is to elevate, is to grow, is to hand down. And if you're not doing that, you're self-destructing. So you have to pay attention to what you also doing. The boomerang effect speaks about, when I teach about the boomerang effect, I teach about not only cause and effect, but operating and with brain and heart coherence. These are a lot of things that I teach. Oh, and just so you know, um 3/3/24, I'm going to be reopening ROA Virtual Academy. That for those of you who don't know, I have it stands, ROA stands for Rise of a Goddess Virtual Academy. I had shut the academy down because for various reasons I won't get into, to make a long story really short. However, the good news is I'm going to be relaunching Rise of a Goddess Academy. It is exclusively for women. Like I said, my core message and in marketing terms, my core audience, not that I don't care about, men, our divine men and our divine young men, but my target audience is the divine feminine woman, right? And so that's going to be relaunching, and I'll keep you posted on those things, right? So everything is energy, right? All living beings, all things, everything is energy, everything is frequency, everything is magnetic. It's always a push and pull, and you have to understand the causes and effect when you're pushing and you're pulling. The best thing you could do for yourself first is become more aware. That's why it is the number one thing in the 7 keys of self-mastery. You have to be aware, you have to acknowledge, you have to be accountable, you have to assess the situation, you have to you have to acquire the information that you need, and then you have to well, I forgot, accept. You have to fully accept where you are before accept where you are. And you have to be you have to acquire the information you need, and then you have to apply that information, right? And so these, I'm gonna run through these slides because I don't want to have you here long. But there is, have y'all ever heard of the levels of conscious chart? It gives you, when you, like I said, when you visually see certain things, it can make more sense to you. It makes more sense to your folk, because your brain is photographic, your mind is photographic. So this is why marketing is a $1 trillion industry because they know the concepts and the power of subliminal messages. They know the power of imagery. And so whenever I am teaching, I always thought it would be more profound if I actually put visuals with it, right? And so not only does it help me stay on track, because like if you've been with me for a minute, right? If this is not your first time here, sometimes I'll just go where the spirit want me to go and it'll be off track. So not only do the presentations help me stay on track, I also am um very conscious, right? And very meticulous, and very strategic about what I use in the images, right? Dealing with the colors and different things like that, right? Like I have a very calculated mind. So on this image and this slide, when we're speaking about everything is energy, you can visually see. And I know I'm very animated with my body, but you can visually see what I'm speaking about. And so it helps your mind and your body to be more perceptive to the image, to the information, right? When it comes mainly in imagery. This is why, like I said, marketing is such a profound industry. And people pay billions of dollars depending on the circumstances. Super Bowl, billions of dollars for segues and segments, because they know the deeper, darker, when you dwelling into, when you understand psychology, and especially the dark side of psychology and subliminal messages, right? You understand that these are tactics that they have been using, that people have been using, especially the wicked ones, since the beginning of their wicked creation. They have been using these. And so when I tell you to monitor and pay attention to everything you consume, a lot of subliminal messages you're not able to pick up. But just because you're not picking up doesn't mean that your brain and your mind isn't picking it up, and it's influencing your behaviors. It's influencing your reality. You have to be paying attention to this. This is why it pays to know a little bit about all of these different things, especially when it has something to do for you. Because some of y'all don't even know when somebody is bamboozling y'all. Like, y'all easy targets, easy targets. And I say that respectfully and sincerely. Baby, some of y'all such easy targets. Y'all stick out like a bullseye. Your energy is so profound, profound, and sometimes respectfully, sincerely, weak and susceptible. So you wonder why people is just like, right? If you think people not out here, right, targeting you, testing your boundaries, testing your standards, testing your will, testing your confidence, testing you're not using, testing where your security's at, you are sadly mistaken. And it's done in a variety of ways. And if you are uninformed, if you are not informed, you're going to be easily swayed. You're going to be an easy target. Like, you have to stop sometimes being so emotionally swayed or moved. Everybody that cry ain't genuine. Everybody tears ain't authentic. It's not saying that you got to be real cold, but I'm saying be cold with it. Like, be cold with stop playing with your life like that. Stop playing with yourself like that. Like, be cold with being able to sift through the BS. Be cold enough to be able to be like, nah, like, some of what you saying is correct, but some of what you saying ain't correct. Right. And I don't want no parts of that right there. I see what you're doing straight through. And whether you decide to let them know what you see, what they doing, that you hit the game or not, or whether you decide to just walk away, at least you won't be led astray. At least you won't be led astray. And that should be the goal. A lot of y'all being taken advantage of, and it's crazy. I see it all the time. I hear it all the time. I've been mentoring men and women for a long time. A long time. Thank you so much for the follows and your participation. So you have to understand the levels and the frequency when you're vibrating in your lower nature versus your higher nature. And this deals with your energy centers, your chakras. Not to say that your lower self is wicked or is bad. It just deals with your lower nature. It deals with your physical self, right? Your first chakra to the third chakra deals with your lower self. The color scheme is different. The frequency is different. The tone is different. The actions and behaviors and dominant programs are different. And whenever you're dealing with the fourth chakra to the eighth chakra, okay, that's your higher self. That's when you begin to separate the physical from the spiritual, the physical from the soul, the physical realm, the 3D realm from the 12D realm, right? That's when you're able to separate yourself from yourself and be able to look outside of yourself without having physical biases. Because as long as you are viewing yourself from your physical aspect, your physical avatar, physical nature, only from your biological, sociological, environmental nature, you are going to continually be misguided and led astray. And you're going to stay down here. You're going to stay down here, which makes you easily susceptible to predators, to manipulators. And it's all for what? Not your benefit. Just because someone say they mean well don't mean they're acting well. Don't mean they actually mean well towards you. Y'all have to stop doing this. Everybody that sing y'all a sad song, or everybody that relate to you, right? That's one of the dark psychology's tactics. One of the rules is to appeal to their nature. That's a strong manipulative tactic on the unrighteous side of manipulating. Remember, there's always two sides. Keep that in mind. One of the tactics, read it. Where's my book? I have so many books. Where's my book? I have this one on my counter. And start investing books. Start investing in books. Just read a little bit. That is one of the tactics of psychological manipulations, is to appeal to the people, appeal to people's traumas. Okay, and you don't even understand what they're doing, how they're manipulating you, how they're testing your knowledge, how they're testing your frequency, your energy, and seeing how confident you are, and seeing how easily swayed you are. And sometimes it's just so crazy. They saying crap. What they saying crap in one breath, and speaking, appealing to your nature. And I'm just like, come on now. Like, y'all can't believe, y'all don't see through this. Perhaps we know our your nature better than you do. Yes. Like, y'all have to understand, is there so many manipulative people y'all out here following? It's crazy. Now, it's you can agree with certain things that they say, but just know better. Like, when you know better, you should be able to do better. And it's just crazy that some to see. It's sad. Some of y'all just baby listen. I'll be like, oh my goodness, y'all not y'all minds are not trained yet. Yet, your minds are not trained to understand subliminal messaging, understand frequency, body language, um, subjective reasoning, right? You have to train your mind to hear what people are not saying, to pay attention to what they're actually saying, what they're implying, even if they don't know well enough that they're doing it. All living beings and things, all living beings and things are infinite on this planet. All living beings and things are infinite on this planet. Know that. Y'all have to start paying attention. Hi, friend. How are you? How are you, my love? This is my first time on your live, and I value your words. Infinite gratitude, the one. I appreciate you. Yeah, this is what I do. For those of you who are just coming in or have new, let me just take a break. It is very nice to meet you. What a pleasure. Infinite gratitude for you spending your time here. My name is Venus Agatis. I'm a self-mastery solutionist and mentor. What that means is that I teach you all things self-mastery, so you can not only learn to master yourself on a triune essence, part mental, soul, spirit, and physical, but also master your reality, because you have the power to do so. So you can then have what you need to change the trajectory of your life, because that's all about. So I am just a version of you, because we are one, we are connected. I am you, you are me, we are we, and together we're powerful. So I'm just here to teach you what I know, cosmic knowledge, esoteric knowledge, ET knowledge, like all of these things, like our story, knowledge, and teach you the why, that you the why behind what you're doing. Um, so you can change it if you want to. So welcome, welcome, welcome to the platform. So this next slide shows you energy and frequency, right? The push pull, right? That your heart is a magnet and your mind and your brain operates as the signal, the messenger, right? And so to be mindful. And like I said, I know this may seem like a lot at first, but baby, the more you practice it, it becomes smoother, right? I don't really subscribe to the concept easy, you know what I'm saying? Because relatively speaking, what is easy? Okay. And then sometimes if it come that easy, baby, I don't want it. So I know it's a lot. However, once you begin the practice of it, it will get a lot smoother as you transition in through and out of your life. Once you have the tools that you need, you will always have the tools and whatever you need to build whatever foundation and structure and home, literally and metaphorically, that you want. Peace, bro. How are you? Relationship gumbo. How are you, my love? Happy Saturday. It is easy when it ain't worth it, and it's when it's worth it, it ain't easy. I know I said that too fast. Okay. If it's easy, it ain't worth it. And if it's worth it, it ain't easy. I like that. Thank you so much, love. I like that. It's not, however, understanding how you perceive things. Like I have a master class that I teach on perception. I have a master class that I teach on self-actualization, right? Self-alka, self-awareness, self-love, self-actualization, and self-concept, right? Self-concept, self-actualization, like all of these things are incredibly important when you're in a process of mastering self, learning self-mastery, because it's time. It's so time for us to wake up. We're in an era of information, sacred knowledge. Like no longer can we continually, willingly, right, respectfully play deaf, dumb, and blind, because the information is all around you. Not only that, the information has always been in you. When you start reaching higher levels of consciousness, when you start understanding subconscious, conscious, unconscious, when you start understanding you on a triune level, when you start understanding you in all of these areas, baby, you start to unlock DNA codings, which the wicked ones call junk coding, junk DNA. It is not junk. The higher you elevate, the more sacred knowledge and codes that are being unlocked in your DNA. What do you think your DNA is? It is infinite. It is infinite information database. You have everything you need. I am here to help you tap into that, to help you unlock it. Unless you have the key, you ain't unlocking anything. You need the specific keys for specific doors to open up in your life. It is high time you start to wake up, because let me tell you something, and this is not to promote fear in you. A time is going to come when it's too late in this round for you. A time is going to become when your time is just going to be up. And a lot of the effects, a lot of the consequences that we are unknowingly or knowingly accruing is going to be extremely painful in many ways, especially for people who still vibrate in their lower nature. You're going to feel every bit of it. Pay attention to the things that is going around. Everything that is happening for divine reasons. Nothing happens externally before it happens internally. As above, so below. Like, really understand what that means. I'm not saying that you have to live your life like just being on alert and just moving. I'm not saying that, but however, I'm also saying be aware. It can't be all fun and games all the time. Like, it can't be a play. You can't play in a playground all the time, all day, every day. There's the time, space, and place for everything. And right now, we're not in a season for you to be worried about your next lick. We're not in a season for you to be chasing a bag. We're not in a season for you to be chasing romantic relationships and different things like that, especially when you are unaware. Like, understand that, good people, beautiful people. Like, it's absolutely time. Like, when are you gonna wake up and decide to take one step after the other to elevate and do something different, baby? If you think you don't have a divine purpose on this realm, baby, continue, continue, continue. Like, continue, continue. Influences of your behaviors. This is the next slide. Um, Subliminal suggestion. I just touched on that. Subliminal suggestion. These are tactics that people are using on you, that's being used on you every day. Subliminal suggestion. What is subliminal suggestion? Subliminal suggestion occurs when messages or ideas that are received below the subconscious. Your control center is it lies in your subconscious and unconscious database. It's not a conscious thing. Okay? You have to be aware of that. You have to understand what's going down, what's going on in the what do they call the bottom of the ship? What do they some of y'all somebody help me out? What do they call the bottom of the ship? Like the captain is on the top doing the navigation and the commands, but what do they call the bottom of the ship? Somebody help me out real quick. Put it in the chat. Like this is like I'm trying to get the analogy of the low. I know it's the lower deck, but it's like the mechanic room or the engine room, the cabinet. Like not the cabinets. Like is that considered where they do all of the ingenuity, where they are taking care of all the controls, like where they're making sure the boat got the gas and the right energy, the hull. Okay, then thank you. Right. So the subconscious is just or like an iceberg. Like you never see the bottom of the iceberg. You never see how mass and vast the bottom of the iceberg is. You can only see the tip. So you have to understand that your dominant programs lie in your subconscious and unconscious, just like Freedom said, in the whole, in the bottom part. The bottom part is not scary. It doesn't have to be scary, right? So you have to understand that these messages or ideas that are perceived that's in the subconscious, the threshold or the base of your conscious awareness influences your conscious. It influences your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. A message, an object, a concept, an idea, right? This is why I tell y'all to be mindful what you consume. If you think you can continually listen to trash, if you think you can continually listen to certain music, if you think you can continually listen to certain low frequencies, right? If you can continually listen to sadness, right? Without it influencing you subjectively, you are mistaken. Everything your mind and body receives is influencing your behaviors. Yes, yes, is what's going on, movies, music, media. Yeah, you have to pay attention. There's certain movies that I don't watch. There's certain music that I do not listen to under no circumstances. And there are music and movies and different things that I will listen to or will watch because I get a lot of inspiration and wisdom from a lot of like my ancestors. Everybody is different. My ancestors speak to me a lot through movies. Certain movies that I'm led to, certain series on TVs that I'm led to, there are reasons, right? It's partly it's entertainment. However, I am still very selective and still aware of how long I am actually consuming certain information and certain frequencies because hey, I'm still part physical too. I can still be affected too. However, because I understand self-mastery, I have the practices and the tools that I need, I'm able to navigate through them. A lot of y'all, I want to teach that, those of you who are willing, because as long as you don't, you're going to keep on getting screwed over and messed up. A lot of y'all think y'all can keep going out here and jumping in, have one foot in and one foot out, playing hopscotch with your life, playing hopscotch with your love. 1 minute you in, 1 minute you out, you jumping from this box to the next box, and you don't even understand what you're doing. All of that is affecting you too. I seen you on Sinetta, Morris Master Teacher. Yeah, I used to. You're absolutely right. At one point, I used to work with Pharaoh. This is when young Pharaoh first came out. I used to assist him, like as a quote unquote like a publicist, for lack of better words. I used to deal with him closely in his lectures and stuff. So That's where you probably remember me from. Same name, Venus. Joe, everything is energy, low or high frequency. Yes, 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 Ashe. If you are in YouTube land, Facebook land, peace, peace, peace to the beautiful souls. If you're just coming in, I can't really see who's actually watching from my other platforms, Instagram and Facebook. YouTube, I can see you, and I can see your messages come through. So don't be ashamed, don't be afraid or shy, and sharing your perspective. You know, the my TikTok family, baby, they be on it. So don't be shy in sharing your perspective. I'm gonna do better at paying attention to the messages so I can read more on it. You saved the day. Yeah, Morris, they was phallus measuring. It's like, come on now. And if Pharaoh, he's still a beautiful soul, right? I'm very much aware of everything that went on till his day in his life. He's still a beautiful soul, and he still has helped a lot of people better understand who they are. I think he still has an extraordinary mind, right? No matter, regardless of what happens. So we have to understand, back to the next slide, right? We're talking about influences of your behaviors, of your conscious mind, subconscious mind, and unconscious mind, right? And we're still talking about the reasons why you are attracting the people, places, and things that you are attracting or not attracting in your life. All of these things that I'm discussing play a big part in that, right? And so you have to understand, when environmental stimuli like words, symbols, sounds are subliminally received and encoded, mental representations of these stimuli and associated mental constructs they become activated. So you have to stop thinking that what you consume, what you engage with, who you're consuming, and who you're engaging with is not affecting you on a deeper level, right? So be mindful of perception, how you perceive things. Be mindful of how you actualize, self-actualize, people actualize, and environmental actualize, right? What are you consuming? What you consume, you become. Your dominant thoughts, your dominant database. When I mean dominant, I mean the stronger, just like in tug of war. The stronger side will survive. The stronger side will pull the weaker side. So whatever thoughts and frequencies are dominant in your mind and vibrating through your body and in your heart is going to be the thoughts and programs that are going to influence and dictate your behaviors, which is leading to what and who you are attracting. What and who you are attracting. Put a one in the comments if you understand what I'm saying. What you consume influences you. What you become, you consume. Thank you so much for the follows, my love. I have cut so many people, places, and things off. Baby, yes. Inspirational beauty. Yes, I had to do it as well. And I do remember certain people I had to cut off. Yeah, it touched me a little bit more than other people, right? Because some of these people was real close to me. At a certain point, I actually had to distance myself from my biological mother for many reasons I'm not going to discuss at this point. But these are certain things that really, really, they do affect you in a lot of ways. However, you have to learn how to truly care about yourself, and truly care about the other person, to know that sometimes, depending on where the person is vibrating, and they can be, no matter what place they hold in your life, they can also be not good for you. You can be not good for them. Y'all can be not good for each other, depending on the space and the season that y'all in, right? I had to distance myself from two of my children at certain points in my life. Yeah, was it challenging, and did it feel like it was breaking my soul? Absolutely. However, I have understood for a long time that my children are not just my children. They still are individual souls on individual missions, and I have no rights to attempt to control that. They are going to do what they are going to do at some point in time. And so whenever self mastery encourages you to take a step back and take the physical part of you out of it, which when you take the emotional part out of it, right? And you're able to assess from an advantage point. You're able to assess without physical biases. You're able to make decisions that are going to be more helpful and more beneficial to you. But once you got it down, baby, listen, you got to go. It may not be for good, baby, but you about to do a about face forward march out of my face. And if that's not the thing, the second choice is I'm gonna about face and forward march and get out the way, because some energies just don't align. And spiritually, if a person is vibrating on such a low frequency, they are susceptible to spiritual inhabitations. If y'all understand what I mean. When you vibrate on a low frequency, you make yourself susceptible to be a host for parasites. There can be spiritual parasites too. If you think all your ancestors was pure and righteous, if you think if one of your ancestors who have transitioned, if one of your friends who have transition and they are no longer in this realm, but they are still in the overall baby. If you think they still can't come and touch you in certain ways, you are sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. And sometimes and only the weak will can be controlled and manipulated. So sometimes these spirits, that's on a whole new level. I don't even want to get into that. I don't even know how I got onto that. I just want you to understand that when you vibrate low free, you just have to pay attention to people that's around you. When you get deep into the spiritual thing, baby, you know how to, you know how to decipher and discern, and you know how to separate. Like, I'm not going to have you around me simply because you my son, simply because you my mother, simply because you're my father. I'm not going to allow your behaviors and your energy to influence me simply because you hold this position, because I know better. I have to not look at you as my son or my mother or my father or my sibling or my cousin or my boy. I have to not look at you like that, but I have to look at you from the cosmic realm, from the spirit realm, and understand that, baby, the longest I have this, the longer I carry you at such a low vibration, the longer you become away, baby, is the slower I'm going to be. Now you have to decide whether you want to move forward or if you want to move backwards. You have to decide that for yourself. Self mastery does that. This is why I teach what I teach. I'm not in the business of teaching you how to get a man or a woman, even though I can. I got some tools and information, right? Money is not my area, right? But there I can tell you the premises of it, the basis of how to get in financial alignment, because I understand energy, and money is also frequency. But that's not my message. It may be other people's and they do what they do, but my message is really giving you the information that you need to learn how to master self. Because when you learn how to master self, when you understand the core workings of a thing, you know how to operate a thing, you know how to master a thing. And isn't that the core of everything? It's at the core of everything. Whether you want money, whether you want love, whether you want more attention, whether you want more respect, whether you want a different career, whether you want to travel, whether you want any materialistic thing, whether you want peace, whether you want to ascend spiritually, no matter what you want, mastering self, mastering your souls is at the center and core of everything. But when you continually try to skip steps and keep trying to master everything that's surrounded, right? The byproduct instead of the production of the product, you're going to miss it every time. You're going to miss the mark every time. So you have to pay attention to these things. You have to understand what these things, and actually this next slide is talking about the left brain function, right brain function. But for the sake of the time, I'm not going to go deep into it, because in the beginning, if you were here, and I'm going to repost the video on my YouTube channel once I'm done with the edits, right? This lets you know that, like I said, women are more right-brained, men are more left-brained, right? The yang represents the feminine, the divine feminine. The yang represents the divine masculine, right? Depending on how you're looking at frequency, right? The black actually represents the divine feminine, and the white, the spectrum, actually represents the masculine feminine, just like on the yin and yang. But when you're looking at it from a different frequency, right? You have the red and the blue, right? And so you have to understand, when you understand what masculinity and femininity is, you'll stop being bamboozled by people who don't have no idea what they're really talking about. Masculine and feminine energy is not materialistic. It doesn't have materialistic attributes. It doesn't have a lot to do with whether you're soft, whether you're loud, or whether you are meek, whether you're charismatic or whether you are tempered, whether you're an introvert or whether you are extrovert. It doesn't matter whether you like blue or whether you like pink, right? It doesn't, that's not what we're speaking about. When you're speaking about masculine and feminine energy, we as a soul, you have both. It's just that the divine feminine she has a dominant, she's supposed to operate, her natural essence is dominant feminine, less masculine. The same goes with the opposite. The male is naturally built to be dominant, a dominant masculine, right? And less feminine. However, remember, you can't separate from yourself. Duality and polarity is infinite. It is divine. You have both. So when we're speaking about, oh, she's masculine, baby, being loud, being charismatic, and being assertive does not mean you are not feminine, honey. The divine feminine is also a warrior. I need y'all ladies to understand this, my divine goddesses. Being a divine feminine doesn't only mean that means that you live a soft life. That's not what makes you a divine feminine. Being soft spoken does not make you a divine feminine, right? Having money does not make you a divine feminine. It does not. And the same goes for men. Being aggressive does not make you a divine masculine. Liking blue does not make you a divine masculine. Money does not make you a divine masculine. Divine masculinity and divine femininity is energy, is frequency. Yes, on a physical level, you can attribute some of these energies and frequencies to being soft, to liking pink or liking blue, or being meek, right? Or being charismatic or being assertive, right? But both energies have a warrior spirit. Both energies are nothing to play with. But if you continually think that divine masculinity and femininity only has physical attributes, you are missing the whole mark. You are missing the whole mark, and you're not mistaken. That's not what femininity and masculinity means. So when I hear people speaking about this, and I'm just like, oh, baby, listen, you're not as intelligent and wise as you think you are, because that's not what that means, honey. Divine femininity is also very dark. It's just like water. Water can be smooth or it can be rough, and it can be very destructive when it needs to be. Okay? Divine femininity isn't soft. Divine femininity isn't laziness. Do you understand the requirements? How beautiful and how honorable it is to be a divine feminine, to be here in the divine femininity, to have that essence. It's powerful. You're powerful. It also comes with responsibility. No, it also comes with responsibility. It's not about sitting home, sitting pretty. It's not about having on the latest fashions, or it's not about getting all types of plugs and looking like, women that just stepped out polished and created to look just like a man. That's not what divine femininity is. It's divine femininity at its core and its essence is not physical. It has nothing to do with physicalities. This is why when I hear ignorant men and foolish men speak of these things, talking about, oh, she's so masculine. Yeah, I'll chop your head off too, baby, and be well in my femininity, honey. Well in my femininity. I can be soft and still be well in my femininity. I am who I need to be when I need to be her. And this is what self mastery also teaches you. So when you are consuming information, when you hear teachers and preachers and mentors and they speaking about men of left brain, pardon me, Pardon me. Women are right brained. Biologically, we're this, biologically, we're that. This is influences. And I'm not saying all of these different things are irrelevant, because they are very relevant. What I'm saying is that that's not what you should be understanding about yourself. You need to understand a little bit more, or you're going to continually stay deaf, dumb, and blind and continually be somebody puppet. You're no one's puppet. You shouldn't willingly want to be anyway. So this slide right here just lets you know that, yes, women are more right brain, men are more left brain. But like I said in the beginning, it doesn't mean that you're not capable. Like it's completely foolish. This is actually the last slide before we get to the Q&A. So yay, we did it, my loves. We did it, my love. Thank you all for hanging in there with me. We're gonna have a Q&A after this, and so I can pay attention to what you're actually saying and you're typing, right? So applying these principles, I'm gonna run through these, right? Some of the tips: do your own work. Do your own research, even if it's the bare minimum. At least you're acquiring more information that you already know at the present moment that is going to help you. Stop being lazy. Stop wanting to have everything done for you. Stop wanting to have everything to fall in your lap. And stop claiming that you are God or goddess and you're not being accountable and responsible for that godship or goddessship. Stop saying that you are king or queen and you don't have no queendom or kingdom. You don't know the first thing about standing in that authority. Like we have to stop. Like, it's time out, because let me tell you something, the consequences is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and they are coming. Understand the times, the cycle, the planetary cycle, the universal cycle that we in. She is reconstructing herself. The divine feminine, the mother earth, is realigning herself, and all things that is foreign to it, all things and people and places that is not for it, of it, not honoring it. Baby, you gonna go. You have got to go. And it's gonna be some of your loved ones. Don't let it be you, though. Realize that you are the creator of your reality. You are the creator of your reality. You have more power than you think you have. No one can violate your free will unless you allow them to. A person is only going to do what you allow them to do. And people pay attention to what they value. And a lot of y'all are not even valuing yourself because you're not paying yourself enough attention. Some of y'all can't even spend 10 minutes sitting with yourself before you start getting antsy and complacent and got to call somebody, and you got to be doing something. And you're addicted to distractions. And this is a sure way to keep you a puppet. It's a sure way to keep you a puppet. It's a beautiful thing to sit with. So you have to realize with great power also comes great responsibility, but it doesn't have to be a hard thing. It doesn't have to be it doesn't even have to be an easy thing. It doesn't have to be a no thing. It just is. It just is. That's what it is. Like, infinity is just infinity. That's just what it is. That what you believe, that what you know will enter your reality, knowing or unknowingly. You don't get what you want, you don't get what you speak. You get according to what you vibrate on. You get according to your frequency. You're going to attract according to your magnetic pull. And whatever you're magnetically pulling towards you, these are the reasons you're attracting him, her, them, they, and things. Right? And so some of the tips that you can do, that you can actually start doing right now, is being grateful. Being grateful for who you are, being grateful for where you are. Let me tell you something. There are literally people living in cardboard boxes. I spent 5 years in the military. I spent 12 months in Afghanistan. I literally seen children and people living in cardboard boxes. Growing up, that's been like a cliche, something I say, like, you live in a cardboard box. Like, in my ignorance, right? You live in a cardboard box. We be joking, saying things like that, or you don't have a pot to piss in. Like, I literally seen that. There are some unfortunate people. Be grateful. Be grateful. Have gratitude for every organ in your body. Have gratitude for every limb that you still can use on your body. Be grateful that you can see, that you can hear, that you can taste, that you can touch. Be grateful that you can actually breathe. Be grateful that you and I can actually experience each other right now. Be grateful that if you have a hot shower to get up under whenever you want to, be grateful. Be grateful if you have a roof over your head, whether you in a big home, a small home, or you're just in a room. Be grateful. If you have options to choose and whether you want to eat this or eat that, be grateful for that. Be grateful if you have anybody in your life, even if it's just one person that love you, listen to you, hear you, whether they're physically in your life or virtually like this. Be grateful that you do have ancestors that love you and still guiding you and helping you with things unseen. Be grateful for the things unseen that is working in your favor. Be grateful that you can still do. Be if you got a car, be grateful. If you walking, be grateful. Be grateful. It's one of the quickest ways to attract and become the magnet to things you want is by vibrating on the grateful frequency, which is the operating on the frequencies in your energy centers from your higher self. Learn to invest in yourself. I can't tell you how sad it is to hear that so many women are paying 200, literally 200 to 300 to thousands of dollars on how to get a man, how to keep a man, how to use a man, or how to get rich quick. But you won't invest $10, $30, $40, even $100, or even what you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for something that's going to truly impact you on a triune level. Because it's not just about here. It's not just this physical experience. And y'all gonna learn that everyone is gonna learn that sooner or later. You're going to learn that sooner or later. Why not learn it now? We're in we're in a time of ascension. And you are either going to choose to ascend or descend. The choice is yours. But the effects is going to happen no matter what choice you make. Choose wisely. Spend more time becoming who you want to be more than you're spending more time in who you trying to run away from. Right? Be very intentional about the things that you do. Be intentional about what you're thinking. Be pay attention, be intentional and calculated with what you think, what you consume, and what you do. The longer you do it, the greater you become at it. Be intentional about everything. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That was actually the last slide, and we actually got through it. So this part right here is going to be Q&A. Feel free to ask me whatever questions you want to. I'm gonna always stay. I like to stay on for a little bit to answer any questions that you may have, especially to pay more attention because simultaneously, because I think women have the attributes of an octopus, baby. Our legs be everywhere at the same time, honey, while we still attached to our body. So I'm here, I'm there, I'm here. But I want to also pay close attention to you. So right now you have my undivided attention. If I can answer your questions, I definitely will. If I'm unable to, for whatever reason, which doesn't happen often, I'll definitely get back to you through a post or something like that. So feel free to ask you anything, verily. Thank you. Feel free to ask questions if you want to. If you're in YouTube land, Instagram, or Facebook, you're more than welcome to put your question in the comment section. If you my TikTok family, if you are here, you are more than welcome to put your questions in the comment section. Thank you so very much. You know what? Let me switch my glasses so I don't have to keep going close to the screen so I can see a little bit better. I need to clean these off. Please, what advice can you give on healing your feminine energy? Um, the first thing I would do is be, well, you already done it. You're aware if you need to heal your feminine energy. The second thing that it's the seven keys of self mastery. Be aware of what's going on, acknowledge what's going on. Like if there's hurt there, if there's pain in certain areas, acknowledge it, fully accept who you are, and just tap in with yourself. Start taking time for yourself. And when you're taking time for yourself, be very meticulous about. When I say take time for yourself, I don't mean go get your nails done, go get your hair done. I mean sit with yourself so you can resonate and pull the thoughts that is causing you any type of dis-ease or discomfort in your body. I would start there. You have to be aware and accept these things in order to begin to start to nourish what's causing you some type of discomfort. Does that help, my love? Most importantly, find some a coach or mentor that you trust, that you resonate with, that can help you along your journey in doing that, because it can. It's so many levels to actually healing yourself. So I hope that helps, my love. Sitting with yourself, blessing your energy centers, especially your womb area, which your first three energy centers, your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plexus. Like blessing your energy center, giving gratitude for your energy center, can also help heal the divine feminine energy. It's all about harmony. Tyrone, what do you mean? What does that mean? If you can ask your question again, I'm gonna keep up. I am grateful for you, beloved. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Devon. I'm grateful for you too. Questioning your own behaviors. Oh yeah, question everything, my love. Black Angel, I researched wounded masculine and feminine, identified what affected me and healed from there. Yes. Yeah, you have to be aware. You have to identify from it. Some people can do it on their own, and some people need more guidance. Let me put this right here. I'll be able to see better. You're so welcome, Nisha. I'm glad that helps. I do have a question, but it's not gonna fit. May I come up? Yeah, absolutely. You can come up, Keys. That's sure. I mean, that's fine. Let me change this. Change this background. Let me take it off. Yeah, you're more than welcome to come up, hon. Advice for newly married couples. Oh my goodness, that's very vast. Foundationally, I would say never lose sight that you are an individual person, an individual soul, and know that whatever you do for that person, you do for you. You are one. And also understand that as you grow, certain things are going to change. Be open to embracing the unknown. Be open to growing with each other. Be open to growing as individuals and with couples. Learn your communication styles. When you understand how your partner communicates, you're able to, get to the heart of a lot of things a lot smoother without causing unnecessary friction. Does that help, my love? And enjoy. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you for explaining. You're welcome, my love. Femininity. Okay, I see you. I see you now. All right. Oh my goodness. You know what? I apologize. I was, oh my goodness, I was not paying attention. Um, if you are on YouTube right now, my phone just lost power. I was not paying attention. I did have it plugged in. Um, but I guess when I moved it, I need to get a better cord. That just lets me know I need to. So I apologize. So I know some of y'all are gonna see this, the replay of this video. Please accept my apology. Forgive me. I was not paying attention to the juice in my phone, and it did cut off. I didn't I didn't do that. It wasn't my wasn't my intention to do that. So once it charges, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to come back just to say that, because by then y'all probably done moved along. However, I'm still live here. So unfortunately, that happened. However, I do understand that everything happens for a reason, because doing the work that I do, it is mentally, physically draining. And so I have my rising and resting rituals. And it's approaching that time. So, but I do apologize for that happening, because I always keep y'all abreast of what's going on. And I typically am really good with paying attention to my phone. I'm typically pretty good with that. So I do apologize to my TikTok family. My goodness. So listen, thank you all for thank you all for being here. Those of you who are inside the live stream, I appreciate you. This is my first time actually using StreamYard and streaming on multiple platforms at the same time. I'm going to learn how to um, at some point I'm gonna really master all of the features and learning how to navigate through these platforms successfully. So thank you for being with me. Thank you for being here. Those of you who are here, I'm not sure who's in here, because I I don't think they can actually show you like who's here with you unless I'm actually on. I'll figure out a way where I can see who's in a room or who's watching, things like that, as we move along. Um, Nevertheless, with that being said, infinite gratitude for you being here, for you sharing your energy, for you participating, for you taking the steps to actually learn and gain some information and consuming things that is absolutely really good for you in many ways. And if you're not already following me, hit that follow button. Well, subscribe and subscribe on YouTube or any other platform. If you're not a supporter, when I say if you're not a supporter, it's free. Whether I don't charge for subscriptions and different things like that on these platforms. So um, help me spread the message, right? We are one. You are me, I am you. We are we together. We are powerful. Divided, we are powerless. So your support helps me in so many different ways. So I appreciate you. And make sure you come back. I'll put out a notification when I do my next free masterclass. It gets real juicy. However, until next time, I love you. Stay positive. Remember, MOS, Masters of Self. This is what we're doing in these times right now. I'll see you all soon on All Things Self Mastery. That's the channel, All Things Self Mastery. Love you. I mean it.